Okay, all my 6-year-olds, I want you to listen up and tell me if this is true for you. If you're in your 40s or 50s, you might want to listen to this too, because this is coming for you. I turned 61 this year, and I am shocked at how life just is so different. Oh, by the way, if you're 25, you can just scroll, because this is 35 years away for you, and that's a lifetime. So, okay, let's wait for all the 25-year-olds to leave the room. All right. I just want to talk about this because I turned 61 and I cannot believe how it is so difficult. It is so much more difficult than turning anything in your 50s. 60 was hard too. I think your 60s are really hard. There's some benefits to them, of course, but I'm going to go through all these crazy things that I've noticed, and I want you to tell me if you have noticed them too, or if it's just me. The first thing that really hits you is you realize that you do not have forever. If I'm lucky, I have 30 more summers. That's like 30 more beautiful summer sunsets. That's only 30 more times to go to the beach or go to summer farmers markets. Not 30 more times, 30 more summers. But 30 is making me 91. That's way beyond the life expectancy. Let's go with 20. If you knew that you only had 20 summers left, would you treat this summer differently? Okay, the summer's over, so. But there really is something about turning 60 years old that slaps you in the face with your own mortality. You suddenly realize that you do not have forever anymore. And so then there's this urgency of, what can I do to change my life? And I think some people might call it a midlife crisis, but we're not in midlife. It's not a midlife crisis, it's a life crisis, because at this point, time is running out. And if there's anything that you wanted to do, you have to focus on it now. It really hits you a lot harder than it does in your 50s. And I imagine that it's like that when you hit 70, 80, 90, etc. But I didn't think about this before 60. Along with this, you realize that if you're going to make any changes, you need to do them now. And so changing your life becomes like this primary focus. There may be many of you out there that are very content with how your life is. You love your home, your children are nearby, your grandchildren are nearby, you're enjoying your retirement as is. And if that's you, that's great. I'm happy for you. But I think there's a bunch of us that want change, and it suddenly becomes urgent. So people decide to start a business or go back to school or move abroad. I mean, there are many things that people do in their 60s that they weren't really thinking about doing in their 50s. And I think the question really becomes, do I like my life? And I had to think about it. You know, I like where I live. It's fine. It's a great American city. I really can't complain. And I like my job, but it's teaching. And it's very stressful at times. So it's not something that I would want to do for 10 more years. You know, I met somebody the other day who told me he was going to work until 70. And I'm like, really? Maybe if you love your job. I can't imagine. Because at 60, you realize, wait, I always wanted to be an artist, or I always wanted to live in Greece. And you realize you can't just keep putting it off. Everything becomes that much more important. Another thing that becomes really important is your friendships. You look back at the people that you have been friends with over the years and all the things you've gone through, the support they've given you, like they're like family. By the time you're 60, if you could have friends for 50 years or longer. In fact, my oldest friend, I met her in nursery school when I was 4. So how many years is that? I can't do the math. 61 minus 4, 57, 58, 59, 61. Yes. I can't believe I've known somebody for 57 years. Insane. And you know what? We're having coffee tomorrow. It's unbelievable. I'm going to bring that up to her tomorrow because I don't think she realizes that we've known each other for 57 years. A friend of 57 years is like family. I can trust her with my life. I mean, this is a very long time friend. And when you start thinking about your friendships, you realize they are what have made your life important. They've been there to support you, celebrate you, cry with you, and they're just part of that fabric of your life story. Another thing, though, that happened in my 60s is I stopped pleasing people. And I was never like a yes person, like doing everything you say, except maybe when it came to boyfriends. Now I have great boundaries. I have really great boundaries. And that does apply to people that I'm dating. It applies to employers. I just am not willing to sacrifice my health, my happiness for another individual or for a job. And of course, by 60, you do have a little bit more flexibility. Often you can retire early if you want to. You have the financial means where if the job is not working out, then you can just leave. I obviously didn't have that in my 20s and 30s. I was a teacher, I was a parent. Actually, I wasn't a parent in my 30s. I didn't become a parent till my 40s. But you can't just leave the job even if you hate it. So you suck it up. And there's some horrible teaching jobs out there, trust me. Horrible, horrible, very stressful, awful positions. And you just have to suck it up because you got to pay the mortgage. So being in your 60s gives you a bit of freedom for that. And so those boundaries become very strong. And there's less desire to hold your tongue. I've found after age 60, I've been very comfortable telling people exactly how I feel. There's no ambiguity anymore. There's no kissing butt. There's no keeping your feelings inside. You just become very confident in saying how you feel and letting people know when they're crossing boundaries. And that's a really good feeling because I definitely wasn't like that when I was younger. People could just walk all over me. And it's nice to have that confidence finally. That took me till my 60s. All right, here's another one. When you are younger, money equals stuff. Can I get a nicer car? Can I live in a nicer house? Some women are into shoes or handbags or beauty treatments, and that becomes your focus. But at 60, the money is not about stuff. The money is about freedom. Like I said earlier, the freedom to leave your job if you want to, the freedom to move abroad if you want to, the freedom to break up with your husband if you want to. It's a good feeling to know that this time of your life gives you the opportunity to have the freedom that you desire. And I don't want to assume that everyone's situation is like that. I know that some people might have medical conditions or financial situations that are keeping them where they are, and maybe they don't feel as free. So I recognize that. But I'm just speaking from my own experience that I was stuck for a long time in parenting. Love my daughter, that doesn't sound right. But you don't have the freedom that you have when you don't have other people to care for. And that leads me to the next one. I feel like at 60, it's very weird because you feel like you're living this new life. I look at life as like a series of lives. So first there's childhood. I'm a daughter, I'm a sister, I'm raised by my parents, and I go to school, so there's that life. Then there's college life, and you have independence, and your friends become your focus, and you're starting to grow into yourself. Then there's young adult life before you have children, before you get married, where you are living in a big city or starting a new job or starting a career and exploring yourself as an individual. Then there's your parenting life or your married life, and that's a whole segment of your life, 20 plus years. Then you reach the older part of your life where you face a lot of challenges, where friends get sick and your parents die. And then you reach your 60s and now you're the old person. What? I don't know how this happened. Sorry, my chair is very squeaky. But yeah, it's like many separate lives. And so when you're in this final stage, essentially, I guess there's one more where you're just old and decrepit and in the old folks' home and you don't have a memory. So we have this one last time to do what we want to do, where we maybe don't have to cater to a spouse, or maybe we don't have to be on 24/7 with children, or maybe we don't have a career, a job to go to. And now we have this opportunity right now between 60 and 80 to be who we want to be, to do what we want to do. And that's the most exciting part about being 60. You have this opportunity to have this life that you create, that you design. You know, I really wanted to go to NYU for broadcast journalism. And my parents told me no. My mother said, no, you're not going to New York. I think they were anxious about me living in a big city. Interestingly enough, after college, I moved to New York. So I still got to live in the big city. Love New York, by the way. It's something that makes me really sad because I think I would have been a great broadcast journalist. I could see myself as Oprah or Gayle King. Like, I feel like I could have done really well with that. And I think that's why I like YouTube, because it kind of gives me that same opportunity to be online and just be in front of a camera and talk. But that's a big regret that I have. I mean, you can't really call it a regret when you were told you couldn't do it. But I guess my regret could be that I didn't tell my parents, too bad, I'm going. My cousin did that. His mom wanted him to go to a certain college and he didn't want to go there. He wanted to go to Howard. And she's like, well, I'm not paying for Howard. He's like, no problem, peace. And he went to Howard. I did not have that in me. I was too much of a little people pleaser. I didn't want to make my parents upset. And I did exactly what they told me to do. They told me, you're not going to New York for broadcast journalism. You're not going to NYU for broadcast journalism. I didn't go to NYU for broadcast journalism. But now, if I want to move to Italy and go to art school, I can do that. If I want to move to Southeast Asia as a base to travel the world, I can do that. So that's one of the really good things about being in your 60s. Now, this one really shocked me. Your body changes in crazy ways. My friend sent me an article once. I wish I could find that article, but she said that your body changes at certain stages in life. It was like 21 and 36 and 60 and 91 or something like that. I don't remember. Don't quote me on those ages. I just made those up. But 60 was one of those ages, and it is so crazy how true it is. It's so crazy. I did not feel the aches and pains that I feel now in my 60s. They just were not there. The crepey skin, oh my gosh. This, thankfully it's not too bad, but like, you probably can't even tell. But look at, like, your skin becomes so thin. It was not like that like 2 years ago. Crazy. I feel like it's harder to hear things. I'm not kidding. By the way, they say if your hearing is not working perfectly, you should very quickly get, depending on the level of severity, get hearing aids or get cochlear implants if it's really bad, because apparently it's tied to dementia. But your body changes in so many ways. What else? Oh, it is so much harder to recover from a workout. Before, maybe a day of soreness. Now the soreness can last for many days, maybe even up to a week. And I feel like in my 60s, suddenly my stomach has become more sensitive. What? I don't want to eat bland food like in the old folks' home? You know how they don't put salt or spices on anything in old folks' homes? Well, I guess it's because it's harder to tolerate. Was not expecting that. And finally, by 60, I think you understand that there are two parts to this. You can be deeply unsatisfied with parts of your life that you weren't able to do, or that you were kept from doing, or things that just didn't happen the way you wanted them to happen. You can be deeply sad and regretful and unsatisfied, but at the same time, you can be deeply and intensely and extremely grateful. So you can be dissatisfied and you can be grateful simultaneously. And I think by 60, you realize, wow, I didn't get to have this situation that I had planned for. I didn't get to do this. And this person has it, and this person has it. Why don't I have it? And you feel sad about that. But at the same time, you feel intensely grateful that you made it to 60. Not everyone is so lucky. And you feel intensely grateful for the experiences that you did have. I can't believe I went to the most incredible summer camp in the world from age 7 to 16. It is one of the most amazing memories of my life. I'm so grateful that I have siblings that get on my last freaking nerve on a regular. Love you guys if you're watching. But I'm so grateful for them. I am so grateful for them, no matter how much we argue. And I'm grateful for the parents that I was born into, the family that I was born into. A lot of challenges. We're not particularly close, but other people have much more difficult situations. And as much as I talk about wanting to move abroad, I'm grateful that I'm American. Maybe I'd rather be Canadian or French or Kenyan or something, but But I am grateful that I'm American. And why? Because of the passport. Travel is huge to me. Travel is huge to me. And having that American passport makes it easy to visit more countries. So there's a lot of gratitude that I have. If you are 60 years old, chime in. What other things surprised you when you turned 60? And if you have not yet reached age 60, do any of these surprise you? I know they do. Anyway, 61st year is loading. Let's do this, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.